You're probably thinking of a man right now. Maybe he's in his 30s, maybe even his 40s, but somehow every serious responsibility seems to slip right through his hands. He avoids difficult conversations, makes excuses when things go wrong, blames bad luck, other people, or circumstances, and when life gets uncomfortable, he disappears. The strange thing is that many of these men aren't stupid. Some are intelligent, some are talented, some are even successful. So why do some men become dependable adults while others seem stuck in a permanent state of adolescence? The answer has very little to do with age and almost everything to do with psychology, because growing older is automatic, growing up is not. Imagine a boy who learns a lesson without anyone ever teaching it to him. Whenever something goes wrong, someone else fixes it. He forgets his homework, someone reminds him. He makes a bad decision, someone softens the consequences. He avoids responsibility, someone carries the weight. At first, it seems harmless, even loving. But over time, something dangerous happens. The child never learns that actions have consequences. He learns that consequences can be escaped. Years pass, he gets older, gets a job, starts dating, maybe even builds a career. But deep down, a part of him still expects life to work the same way. Someone else will handle it. Someone else will fix it. Someone else will take responsibility. And that's where emotional growth quietly stops. Because maturity isn't built through comfort, it's built through responsibility. Every mistake you own, every uncomfortable conversation you don't avoid, every difficult choice you make despite being afraid, those moments slowly shape a person. Without them, growth stalls. And this leads to one of the biggest reasons some men never grow up: avoidance. Most people think immaturity looks childish, but often it looks invisible. It looks like avoiding the things that make you uncomfortable, avoiding responsibility, avoiding commitment, avoiding conflict, avoiding accountability. Think about a relationship. A mature man doesn't enjoy difficult conversations. Nobody does. But he stays, he listens, he works through the discomfort. An immature man often does the opposite. He changes the subject, makes a joke, gets defensive, leaves the room, or pretends the problem doesn't exist. Not because he doesn't care, because discomfort feels unbearable. And the more he avoids discomfort, the weaker he becomes at handling it. That's the trap. The thing that would help him grow is exactly the thing he keeps running from. But underneath all this avoidance is something even deeper: fear. Not fear of failure, not fear of responsibility, fear of what responsibility might reveal. Because as long as everything is someone else's fault, you never have to question yourself. But the moment you take ownership of your life, the excuses disappear. And that's terrifying, because now success is your responsibility, but failure is too. A lot of emotionally immature men would rather protect their ego than face that reality. That's why criticism hits them so hard. Have you ever noticed how some people can't handle even the smallest criticism? They immediately argue, defend themselves, blame someone else, or shut down completely. The problem isn't the criticism itself. The problem is what it threatens: a fragile self-image. A mature person hears criticism and thinks, maybe there's something I can learn here. An immature person hears criticism and thinks, you're attacking me. And that's a huge difference. Because growth becomes impossible when every piece of feedback feels like a personal attack. Now here's something most people misunderstand. Many man-children don't act immature because they're lazy. They act immature because they're scared. Scared of failure, scared of rejection, scared of not being good enough. So instead of facing those fears, they distract themselves from them. Sometimes with entertainment, sometimes with excuses, sometimes with endless procrastination. Anything that helps them avoid looking directly at what's bothering them. And for a while it works, until life starts demanding more responsibility, more commitment, more accountability. And suddenly the strategies that worked at 20 stop working at 35. That's why emotional immaturity often becomes most visible in adulthood, because adulthood keeps asking questions that avoidance can't answer. Can you commit? Can you take responsibility? Can you handle discomfort? Can you be accountable for your choices? Eventually, everyone has to answer. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people have a little bit of this behavior inside them. Maybe not in every area of life, but everyone has responsibilities they've delayed, conversations they've avoided, excuses they've repeated. The difference is whether you keep running or finally turn around and face them. Because growing up isn't about becoming serious all the time. It isn't about losing your sense of humor, and it definitely isn't about becoming boring. Some of the most mature people you'll ever meet are playful, adventurous, and fun. The difference is simple. They don't use fun as an escape. They don't run when life gets difficult. They step up when it's necessary. Because real maturity isn't measured by age. It's measured by what happens when responsibility knocks on your door. Do you answer it, or do you hide? And maybe that's why some men never grow up. Not because they can't, not because they're incapable, but because growing up requires facing parts of yourself you've spent years avoiding. The fears, the excuses, the uncomfortable truths. And the moment you stop running from those things, something changes. You stop being controlled by them. Because adulthood isn't a number, it's a decision made over and over again, every time fear says run, every time responsibility feels heavy, every time life asks you to become a little stronger than you were yesterday. And the men who truly grow up aren't the ones who never feel afraid. They're the ones who finally stop letting fear make their decisions for them.